Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a review and wear test on the new Juvia's Place complexion products. They just launched new foundations. This is the I Am Magic Radiance Foundation, and this is their new powder foundation. So I am super excited to do a wear test on these, how I wear them. I've actually been using these for a couple days now, so I'm ready to give you guys like my full in-depth thoughts. You guys know how to do my wear test. I do an all-day wear test so you guys can see how this looks through the day on my skin. So let's just go ahead and get right into this video. We're first going to start off by talking about the foundation, because what I personally like to do for my powders is I like to go in first with liquid foundation and then I set with powder foundations. I am not somebody that uses powder foundations by themselves. So this foundation is by Juvia's Place. They're available at Ulta, and also you can find it on Juvia's Place's website. So I did receive these in PR package, but you guys know me. Whenever a new foundation comes out, I will go out and purchase. So I'm always very thankful when brands decide to send me products, and you guys know me. I'll always give you guys my honest opinions on these foundations. This retails for $23. I do have this in the shade Caracas, and there are 33 shades of this. And basically this is a natural radiance foundation that is an easy glide foundation for a flawless, radiant, and luminous complexion. This water-resistant formula will naturally minimize imperfections to smooth, protect, and hydrate the skin with lasting results. This is a medium coverage and it's long wearing. Let's go ahead and just put this on our skin. I do want to quickly say one thing for anybody who may be new to my channel. I do have very oily T-zone and a little bit of dryness on the cheeks in the fall and winter, because the cold tends to dry out my cheeks, but in the summer it's just like oily all around. But right now I've been moisturizing like crazy, so I always rely on my First Aid Beauty Ultra Repair Cream for that, because my cheeks need all the hydration they can get. As I'm getting older, I have mentioned this, I am feeling like I'm starting to get a little bit more so just an oily T-zone, and then everything else is kind of like normal to dry sometimes. But I will say that right now in the winter, the cheeks are dry, so I have to moisturize. Another thing I want to mention is that I do have rosacea and sensitive skin. Right now I am having a little bit of a flare up. I think it's from the coffee that I had, to be completely honest. So that's why my cheeks look red, and I do have texture. So I always like to point that out. So today for sponge, I'm actually going to be using this Juvia's Place sponge, and I've been loving this sponge. It's great for foundation, but it's also great to apply powders because it does have like a flat edge to like really get in there. But I've been loving this. So I'm going to use this to go ahead and apply the foundation. So I'm not sure if you guys know, but Juvia's Place does have a more matte foundation. So it's nice that they came out with the radiant foundations, and you guys know radiant foundations have been very popular the most recent years. So you guys can see that. This is what it looks like. It does have a yummy scent. It's like a fruity scent, but it hasn't irritated my skin, which is always a plus, because sometimes scents can irritate my skin. So I'm just gonna go here, and I'm gonna take some here. I feel like right now, because it is winter, I can get away with the shade Caracas, but I definitely do think that in the spring and summer, I would have to go probably 2 shades up to find like that perfect match for me. So we're gonna just go in on this side with a sponge, and it says that it's gonna give medium coverage, but I can say this has been giving me full coverage. Like, it covers my rosacea immediately, but it covers it in like a very healthy way. And I love this sponge. I feel like this sponge is just so nice. I love this flat edge of the sponge. And you guys can see that the color matches pretty well. I feel like the shade Caracas does have a little bit of like that neutral undertone, which I appreciate. And I did mention they do have 33 shades. So I think on Ulta they have 30 shades, but I think on Juvia's Place they have like the 33 shades. Okay, so this is what it's looking like so far. And I have to say, I like the fact that this gives you like a radiance from within. As somebody that does have that very oily T-zone and more dry cheeks right now, I feel like it looks really nice on the skin. It's not looking too greasy or too oily. I feel like it just looks like a radiance from within. And I know people have asked me, like, what are your thoughts? How does this compare to the Makeup by Mario? Because you guys know Makeup by Mario did also launch foundation, and it's radiant as well. And to be completely honest with you guys, as somebody that does have, I would say like combination skin, I feel like this one, I love the coverage way more than the Makeup by Mario one. I definitely do think the Makeup by Mario one is more of like a buildable coverage. I feel like this one gives you really great coverage, and honestly I feel like this one lays on the skin prettier. I've seen a lot of people say this, and I feel like this too. I feel like the Makeup by Mario one is great if you have dry to normal skin and you want like that radiance, like model off duty type of foundation finish. I feel like this one offers you more coverage, and it's definitely more affordable than the one by Makeup by Mario. I'm not saying the one by Makeup by Mario is bad. I definitely do think for those like very, very light makeup days, it's perfect. But I just feel like if you want coverage and you want to pay less and you want less of a radiant finish, I think you will enjoy this one by Juvia's Place more after using both quite a few times. I will say though, I mean, look at this difference. You guys can see, look at my rosacea. It's really flared up right now. And I have rosacea on cheeks and also on the nose, but like look at the difference between both sides, and still my skin looks like skin. And now for the other side, I do want to go in with a brush. I'm going to be just using my Real Techniques 200 brush. You guys know that I love this brush, and I'm going to be going right there like so. And I am going to put this on. You guys see like the coverage is there on this. And I always say, you guys know this, I always say, if you want more coverage, definitely go in with a brush, because the brush will give you the coverage. Like, look at that. Look at that. Look how it's covering my redness. So like the fact that because this is a nice radiant foundation, I feel like it doesn't look really heavy on certain areas where I tend to have issues of separating, like the nose area. And then my more evened out part of my skin is always my forehead. So I feel like in the forehead, we don't need to go in with too much. But of course, I'm gonna just go ahead and add that to place. I'm gonna use the sponge to like marry together these two areas. I will say, if you are somebody that does have oily skin and you want to try this foundation because you like the coverage of it and you like how it looks like skin, I would go in with a mattifying primer, and I think it'll help a lot of that just kind of look more skin-like. I personally did not use a mattifying primer. I just used my moisturizer today because of the fact that, like I mentioned, my cheeks have been really dry. So I feel like when I go in with matte on dryness, it's just not a good thing. So I just kind of like left it as is, but look at this. Look at that. I really like this. Like, I really like the coverage of this. I really like how it looks on the skin. Once you give it a few minutes, it does set into your skin, and it does not look as like glowy as when you first apply it. And also keep in mind, I did moisturize very heavily. I used my First Aid Beauty Ultra Repair Cream, and I also used a face oil. I used the Merit face oil because I really needed to hydrate. That's why I'm giving a little bit more of a glow. But I mean, look at this. It literally covered all of my rosacea. I had very, very red cheeks, and it covered, honey. So brush, sponge, it really depends on your preference. If you want it to look more like skin-like natural and you kind of want to diffuse any of that extra product you may have gone in with, if you went in a little too heavy-handed with the product, the sponge is always the way to go. And I would highly recommend checking out these sponges because these sponges are really good. Like I said, you can also find these at Ulta, Juvia's Place, but I just love this concept of like the flat side and then the other like bouncy typical side. I just feel like it's great for powders and also for liquids. And with a brush, I think that if you want more coverage, definitely want to go in with a brush, but still either or, you get really great coverage. You guys saw how it covered my rosacea. So I really like that. I liked how it looks. And I feel like it's definitely giving me radiance from within. And like I said, I do have like that oily T-zone. So I'm always somebody that likes to go in and set with powder. And it's a plus that they did also launch powder foundation, so that once we're done everything, I can go ahead and just set it with this powder and show you guys how that looks as well. So you guys know that Juvia's Place also launched powder foundations. These retail for $18, and I have this in the shade Bogota. And let's talk a little bit about what this is. So this is an Eaze Glide foundation that provides a flawlessly radiant and luminous complexion. Okay, so what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm just going to take a small brush because I really want to target it in certain areas, especially around the T-zone. That's really where I like to set. You guys can already see, I'm going to do one side first so you guys can see the difference between having the powder on and having no powder. It just makes the biggest difference. And like I said, I love putting powders on top of radiant foundation just because they layer on really nicely. So I really like to use powders with radiant foundations. So you can apply this however you want. You can use a puff, you can use a brush. I like to use this little Precise brush. It's actually the e.l.f. Putty Bronzer brush, but I use it to apply powder because I feel like it just gives the most perfected finish. You guys are seeing the difference, and I do like the shade in Bogota. I feel like it complements my complexion really well. Look at that difference already. This is with the powder. Everything just looks so much more perfected, so much more beautiful, so much more like matte and in place if you do want more so of that like soft matte finish. Okay guys, what do you think? I feel like this powder is great. Like I really like the finish it gave me. I feel like it definitely gave me like a really beautiful complexion, which I can definitely appreciate. Quickly going to do my hair and then I'll come back and let you guys know how this sets together, and then we can begin this wear test because I want to like kind of let this sink in for a second. Okay guys, so I am back. I let the powder sink into the skin for a little bit while I did my hair, and I have to say guys, I really like how everything looks together. I feel like it looks absolutely stunning. It definitely gives me like a soft matte finish, which I really appreciate, and I just feel like the skin looks beautiful. Cool thing about them launching these two products is that if you love a more so radiant finish, you have very dry to normal skin and you want that like radiance to peek through, this is great. But then if you are somebody that has oily skin or combination skin and you want to be given the option to, you know, give your face a little bit of a soft matte finish on top, the powder works fantastic with the liquid foundation. So I really love that, and I feel like these two colors are great for me. I will show you guys in a natural lighting clip so that you guys can see how these two look together, because I feel like that always really kind of helps, you know, show you guys what this really looks like on the skin. Right now it is 2 p.m. so I'll come back probably around like 7:30, 8-ish to let you guys know how this wore for the rest of the day, because you guys know that I love doing a good wear test for you. Okay guys, so here are the two products together on the skin, and I have to say I feel like they look really, really nice together. I definitely feel like the foundation was just like the perfect base. It honestly does not feel heavy whatsoever on the skin, and neither does the powder, which is always a plus, especially for somebody like me that loves to set their face with a good powder. I think it's great finding a powder that doesn't set on the skin and feels heavy. I also love the fact that these two products together do not look cakey at all. So like when you're looking at it, it doesn't look like you're wearing two types of foundations. Like it literally just looks like a very beautiful foundation finish. And I feel like in the natural lighting, the colors look fantastic on me. Like they honestly match me really well, which I love. And you guys can see. Okay, bonitas, so I am back right now. It is 8:13 p.m. and I have here both of the foundations on the skin. Like I mentioned, I first went in with the liquid foundation, then I set everything with the powder foundation. So it's been quite a few hours since I last saw you guys, and honestly, I really love this finish. And this is typically the finish that I look like after wearing both of these products together by the end of the day. I definitely feel like if you're somebody like me that has oily skin, I would recommend definitely setting the radiant foundation with a powder, whether it's your favorite powder that you already have at home or whether it's you wanting to try this new powder by Juvias Place. Highly recommended. This foundation works great with powders, and I have said this before and I'll say it again. If you go in with a foundation that's lightweight and has a radiant finish, it allows for you to then go on with a powder on top to set it, and it sets really nicely because on the skin it doesn't look cakey. You guys can see like by the end of the day it's very long wearing and it just looks like skin. It's also not sticky whatsoever, which I really love. Now, is there a little bit of transfer? Yes, but it's not sticky. Now, there will be people who will love this completely by itself, and for those, I definitely say I think the people that I love the most are people with dry to normal skin, because you do have that nice radiant finish. So I think it kind of works great with all different types of complexions, whether you have more so of dry skin or whether you have oily skin. You just go in and set it and bam, like it'll give you a really pretty finish by the end of the day. Like I mentioned earlier, I have been wearing this for quite a few days and I really like how this looks on myself. Those are pretty much all my thoughts. If you've tried this, let me know what you think of it. Do you love it? Do you hate it? I want to know all the tea. So let's go ahead and start a conversation down below. So that's pretty much it. I hope that you guys really enjoyed watching this video. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up. It lets me know to continue doing these type of videos for you guys. I hope that you guys have a fabulous day. Don't forget to stay safe, stay blessed, and stay beautiful. And I'll be seeing you guys very, very soon for a brand new video. Bye guys.